Hello, welcome back. I'm here with the Goodwill book haul and media haul. I recorded a haphazard video yesterday, but the mic settings weren't properly set, so I'm just gonna re record it today. And I don't have a light diffusion, so I kind of had to angle my lamp in a really weird way. Um, so it can't fully light all of this, but yeah, that's to explain for the weird contrasty image we've got going on here. Um, but yeah, I guess I'll just start off with the book haul. But first, I'll actually go into the two medias that I got from there. So first off, I got a CD. I decided that I kind of wanted to continue my CD collection, and I'm actually trying to look for a CD player at a Goodwill because the one I have right here, it's like an old DVD CD player, and I it doesn't match the rest of the set because I have like kind of like a brushed aluminum look going here, and this is like just an old one that I fixed up that we've already had at home, but yeah, I plugged this into the CD player and it works great. This actually was my very first CD I ever bought, um, but I don't know where it is in the house, so I saw this at the Goodwill and I was like, you know what, let me just get it for cheap. And it plays great. There's nothing really wrong with the CD. Um, there was another CD that I wanted to get, and it was the Bodyguard soundtrack, and that's my mom's favorite movie, and it's just a really good soundtrack in general. Um, but right after I grabbed the Unorthodox Jukebox and the Bodyguard soundtrack, I went immediately into the records, so I didn't really check. It was a very quick run that I had at Goodwill. And so when I went to the counter, the cashier was like, "Oh, make sure that the CDs are in here. Did you check?" And I was like, "Oh, let me double check." So the Unorthodox Jukebox was there. But then for the Bodyguard, we opened it up and there was nothing in there. Now, so tragic. But for some reason, some of the CDs were like $3, which is absurd. Um, that's like seemed to be like a higher price than I saw at other Goodwills. So this is a Goodwill I don't usually go to, but yeah. So I just went off with one CD, and usually this place has like doesn't really have the greatest selection of records. One time I got lucky and found a Jim Croce uh compilation vinyl and like Donna Summer, some like 80s stuff. Um, so I didn't really try that hard to look in the records because it's very disorganized here at this Goodwill. So, but this was like the first one I saw, and it was the only one I really checked out. It's The Hissing of Summer Lawns by Joni Mitchell. And I don't know the album particularly, but I love Joni Mitchell. I actually really love her Blue album. That is my favorite one that I know of. And I just kind of like her lyrics and her musicality, and she kind of sings with a very interesting like syllable breakdown. And so I checked the record before I left. That was the only thing I really did check. So it was in pretty good condition. The cover isn't in the best condition, but the record itself is in great condition, and I tested it on the turntable. I cleaned it up, and it works great. And yeah, it sounds awesome. I hope to do a full listen to this soon. But yeah, that was kind of a steal because I rarely see Joni Mitchell records out at the Goodwills I'm at. So yeah, that's it for the media stuff. Now on to the books. I kind of wish I had more time to explore the books, but what I got in that short amount of time was pretty good. So I'll start with the two books that are kind of different from the rest. So I got two folio collections. Oh, sorry, the camera's here. Two folio collections, and they're both in French. There was actually a decent selection of folio collections in the French editions, um, but a lot of them I wasn't too familiar with. But I do wish I grabbed one that was called The Human Condition, but I wasn't aware of the author, So that's on me, honestly. But I just grabbed the two that I was very familiar with, which is Camus and Sartre. So this is Nausea and The Fall, um, respectively. And I really like the covers. The folios, I like their like weird images in the front, and it's just very minimalist. It's just that image, and then it's like a white um, background. And the reason why I do like to collect some of these shorter French works is because I learned French for a decent amount of time. I can speak and listen better than I can read, but usually get a lot more free time to read it, so I could just read at my own pace. And I have like a small collection of French books that I'm slowly going through. It's kind of a bit of a daunting task to kind of read a book in another language, but um, it's a good exercise, and I thought I should get it on some authors that I kind of know of. So yeah, that's kind of why I got these. Um, on the fall here, it was all of the folios are actually in perfect condition, but I messed up here. There was a Goodwill tag here, and I got it off cleanly on this. There's nothing, um, like nothing that scarred this one, but this was on me. I accidentally I was a bit too rough with the sticker, so but I'm not looking to resell these books usually. It's mostly for my collection, so it's okay. But yeah, that was cool to find. I usually don't find French editions out in the wild, so when I do, I try to take advantage of that. All right. The next one is a fantasy book. It's the first book of the Wheel of Time series called The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. And I'd heard great things about this, but I've been kind of taste testing different fantasy series. I just completed A Song of Ice and Fire. So, or not A Song of Ice and Fire, the first Game of Thrones book, but I am enjoying it, but I think that's mainly because I had watched the series twice already before I actually decided to read the books. Um, I just finished the first Mistborn book, but I will say the writing it really picks up at the end, but I think the amount of hand holding that occurs in that book it's all right, but I think it's just not for me personally, and I think it's also geared towards younger audiences, but it's very digestible and the magic system is very cool and all that. But yeah, I guess I'm just testing some series to see if I would enjoy it. So I kind of grabbed this one, and it was the only book of the series that was there. So I was like, you know what? I could just get it for cheap. It was like $1, and the rest of these were $2. So yeah, I grabbed this, and I hope to read it, and hopefully, if I do enjoy it, I'll slowly find these in Goodwills and build the collection over time. Next up is Cormac McCarthy's The Road. Now, I've actually had quite the journey with this book. Basically, what I had a copy of this a long time ago in high school, and I got it off thrift books for maybe about $6. And then I brought it with me to university in hopes that I would read it. And I got started on it, but um, I there's something with me in post-apocalyptic settings that don't really bode well. I don't know why, but it takes a decent amount of effort for me to get into the plot. Like, I enjoy the plot of The Last of Us, but it takes a lot of mental effort for me to dive into a post-apocalyptic world. I don't know why. Maybe it's the grittiness or something, but um yeah, like for example, I couldn't really watch The Walking Dead cuz the post-apocalyptic setting never really was enticing for me. Um I guess zombies are also not the strongest plot point for me. But I know this isn't really a zombie story, it's more post-apocalyptic and survival. Um but yeah, so I was moving out of university and I didn't have room to carry everything, so I donated my copy to the Goodwill near my university actually. And but recently I had finished reading Stoner by John Williams, and I'm going very slowly through John Williams's books. So I have Butcher's Crossing and Augustus on the list, but my plan was to read Butcher's Crossing, and I really loved Stoner, so I think I will love Butcher's Crossing. And I heard Butcher's Crossing influenced Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian, so my idea was to read Butcher's Crossing, then Blood Meridian, and then get into the road. Um, so yeah, I know Meridian. Most people like find that to be their favorite and his strongest work. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But I've also heard decent things about this. I've also seen like the cover of the movie for this, but I haven't really been interested to watch it. But maybe after I read this, I'll finally give it a go. But yeah, that's the backstory on why I finally got the road again. All right, and the next up is Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. It seemed like to be a shorter work than I expected because like the amount of text on a page is like a lot smaller than I'm used to, and the kerning and spacing between the words are digestible enough for me. So, the only other Kurt Vonnegut book I've read is Slaughterhouse-Five. I didn't even read that. I actually listened to it on audio, which was a very interesting experience. I will say I don't remember too much of the plot, but I think if I ever have the book, I'll read it. But yeah, I just know about Kurt Vonnegut and his short stories, and his stories are very entertaining and also have a lot of good themes that I'm really interested in. You can't really go wrong with getting a Kurt Vonnegut out, especially if you find it out in the wild for $2. So that's why I got this. And then, lastly, I have, is it Jorge or George Louis Borges? I feel like when I say George Louis Borges, I'm pronouncing it like in a French way. But I feel like if it was Spanish, it'd be like Jorge Luis. Is it Borges still? Borges? I don't know. I have a linguistics degree and I still don't know. But maybe I'll just research it. I'm sure it's just a quick Google search. But yeah, his Ficciones, I saw. I rarely see like Borges in general out in the wild. I have his Labyrinths. I think I actually saw that in a Goodwill like 5 years ago, and it's in great condition. I learned about him in my postmodernism section of I was in academic decathlon in high school, and there was like a literature section that we had to learn in the 60s. The theme was 60s. So that's where we learned about him. And what I read about him was super interesting, and it kind of fascinated me about his take on literature and all that. So, yeah, I still have Labyrinths to read, and now Ficciones. I will say I was a bit bothered with the stickers on here, because this big sticker, you can see I kind of haphazardly tried to get it off, but it's kind of really on there. So that's really unfortunate. And also back here, there was an even bigger sticker here that I couldn't completely get off, and there was like layers of stickers here. So you can see I also haphazardly took it off here, but I mean, I'd rather see it in this condition than it was before because that sticker was taking up so much space on here and I could barely see the back text. So, yeah. Yeah, that's all I have. I should be going to Goodwill, I think, next week as well. It's a long weekend, so hopefully I'll find some stuff then too. But yeah, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.